It's really beautiful. And actually it talks about, it deals with Emuna. We're going to start now. Why? Because we said last week that gratitude is really Emuna, right? Mm-hmm. When we are in gratitude, when we are, focusing on the good and believing that everything that Hashem does is letovah, which yesterday we mentioned when we went to Rabbi Akiva yesterday, that that's Rabbi Akiva, right? That everything Hashem does is for the good. So here we see that Kadosh Baruch Hu, whatever he does something, to us it seems like it's bad, and that was the shiur yesterday. You should listen to the shiur last night from Leva'am.
Was it
posted English?
Oh, good.
She really spoke about this concept of seeing the good, and she related to what happened on October 7th, how actually, it's hard to say, but there was a lot of good there. And she spoke about the miracles that happened and how Hashem saved us from most of our country being taken over, because that was what was supposed to be. That was the plan. Not was supposed to be. That was the plan. What was what Hashem willed it to be. But she said that oftentimes our interpretation of what's good is not Hashem's interpretation of what's good, because we only see one side. Imagine you have a crocheted. Let's say you have sarig mashu, right? Needle point, right? Or even something that we do, right? And you make a beautiful picture. But if you turn it around, the back of it is all knots and strings and different colors, concoction of like blue, it's like balagan, right? It looks like balagan. But there's a beautiful picture on the other side that you manage to weave together. So that's this world. Olam hazeh, olam ne'elam, nashon ne'elam. It's hidden. We don't see the actual picture. We don't see the beauty of it. We don't see the good of it. Bezrat Hashem, Latit Lavo will be able to see the other side. In this world, it's hidden from us. Sometimes we're able to have a glimpse, but we have to hold on to Emuna. We have to hold on to the belief that everything that Hashem does is one, is echad. We spoke about this last week. It's good, right? And what's Shema Yisrael are the words that we say, the words, the pasuk that we say, that we mentioned this, we're reading from the Sefer of Tiva Emuna, the essence of Emuna, which is Rav Gamliel Rabinovich, and then we're going to be learning now from the Chovot Halevavot. We did an introduction, and I like to use Rav Gamliel Sefer because he brings it home. He brings it very much to life. So what's the dedication and the declaration? We believe this. We believe in Hashem. We say this all the time. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hashem, who's Elokeinu, our God, Hashem Echad, right? He's the only Hashem. And we say this every day, morning and night. And we say this on Shabbat a few times during the Shacharit, and then during Tirat Torah, and then during Musaf, the Kedushav Musaf, right? Why we say it so many times? And he told us, because in essence, that is our motto, right? And why? Who remembers? Why is it that we say Shema Yisrael? What does that show?
That there's one God.
Right.
Our God, and it, like the good and the bad comes from within.
Right. Anything else? I remember. משבוע שעבר. זה הרבה זמן לפני שבוע, נכון? לזכור. כן, מה אנחנו אומרים שאנחנו מכריזים שמע ישראל? Where can I find it?
אני למדתי שהשם זה, לכולם יודעים את זה, שהשם זה מידס הרחמים, אלוקים זה מידס הדין. אז כשאומרים השם אלוקינו, רחמים ודין, השם אחד, זה הכל גוש אחד שיכול. גם הרחמים, גם הדין.
נכון.
אבל אומרים, איך? ובסוף אומרים השם אחד, שזה מידת הרחמים.
אחד, זה שתיהם אחד.
The God of judgment and the God of mercy.
נכון, נכון. It's declaring the unity, the oneness of Hashem. ייחוד השם. כל העניין הוא עניין של ייחוד השם. that we're machrizim, that we declare that you are echad, ata echad, we say in the Kedusha, ata echad, v'shimcha echad, right? Everything about you is one. And this is our avodah, is being able to see the oneness of Hashem in everything that happens to us. That's emuna. That's why we say it. Because זה אמונה, שאנחנו מאמינים שכל מה שהשם עושה זה לטובה, וכל מה שהשם עושה יש לזה תכלית, it has a purpose, right? It's for the good. That is the unity of Hashem. And not only that, we were saying about
Yisrael being all the
yes,
imahos.
yeah, that I said, that was my little thing. This is dvekut. בסדר. תודה רבה. ותדברי איתי, בעזרת השם.
נעים מאוד להכיר.
The dvekut of Hashem, right? The word dvek b'Hashem. Can you walk her out for me? Thank you so much.
Making sure you leave.
Too high? It's not staying still. What? It's not staying still.
Yeah.
It's too high for me.
I just want to say.
Yeah.
The intention of the war was that it ends, but that the basis on.
Say it again. Didn't hear.
Hashem Elokeinu.
Ashir is saying something.
That from the war now, with the war, what came to mind to me, the chiddush for me, is that it says we end with Hashem Echad, the Midat HaRachamim, that Hashem Elokeinu, but it doesn't say Elokeinu Echad, it says Hashem Echad.
Nachon.
God of mercy.
That he's right. There's one more thing I wanted to say.
Yisrael.
No, that this is really, he says it's this the ability to rise, ascend to great levels, and ultimately reach dvekut. By saying this again and again, we're declaring, we said this is the foundation, right? And that's what we keep saying it, we keep declaring it. We have to remind ourselves who we're connected to. Remember, we started with the Shiviti Hashem Negdi Tamid. Whenever we start to do something, we start to daven, we have to place Hashem before us. We have to have a recognition that there is a Hashem, first of all, and that he's here, and that he's with me, and that he's watching over me. That alone is the beginning of the foundation of our Emuna. Because if we don't believe there's a Hashem, we don't believe there's a power, higher power, then why are we praying? And then why are we doing mitzvot? Why are we saying brachot, right? So that's the first thing that we spoke about. And now we're declaring this in the Shema. We say it even before the Shacharit, not before Shacharit, before we get to Psukei de Zimra. There's actually a Shema Yisrael that we say by the Korbanot. Women don't always say it, but there's the Man Kriya Shema, right? So some people say that Shema, Biyot is Man Kriya Shema. We have to say the Shema Yisrael. It's declared by a certain time, not us, because we're not, we don't have to keep mitzvot the time bound mitzvot, right? It's Man Grama. But that's our dedication. That's our motto. That's our concept of understanding that in order for us to have Atzlacha, in order for us to have anything that we have, we have to be davek b'Hashem. We have to be clinging to Hashem. We have to declare Hashem's oneness, right? That he says that we can serve Hashem as the servant who truly wants to crown his master, and in doing so, achieve the desired dvekut. But he says that we're climbing levels as we're praying, and we say it again, and then we say Shemona Esrei, and then we take out the Torah and we say it again. Right? We're climbing different levels. We're ascending, right? At the beginning, it was just at the beginning of the tefillah and the avodat tefillah, right? But now we're continuing to declare it again and again. We're climbing different levels. I don't know if you know about this, but we learned this in my tefillah class, that the davening teaches us that we go to different levels of kedusha. There's olamot that we're climbing, and that's why the first part is korbanot. That's the more animalistic, shitchi, the most, the lowest type, right? The world here. And then we climb higher and higher to the world of Atzilut, to the world of Asiyah. There are different worlds that represent our sort of striving higher towards Avodat Hashem, towards serving Hashem, all the way up to like Malachim, right?
When I go through it,
so we say,
take notes. The first one, do you know it off?
I don't remember all the worlds by heart, but I mean, but in order, I could tell it to you in a second.
Starting out with Chovot, you're more animalistic. That sounds like nefesh, right?
No, that's
not related?
no, it's called, there's different things. It's Olam HaAtzilut, Olam
It's just not, but it's not the name of the world.
yeah.
Right, no,
It is our soul. It is different parts of the soul. Let me see if I could, I don't know if I'll find it so
But
quickly.
isn't that also that we take 3 steps back? When we take 3 steps forward,
Keren,
we're entering into the 3 we're going up, climbing up the
up the
levels.
highest world. Shemona Esrei is the highest. You know, I'm not
When
gonna look it up now.
when we're taking those 3 steps forward, we should have that
Oh.
in mind.
Yeah, remind me after the class is
Okay.
I have it in my notes also because I
Okay.
teach tefillah. So yeah, so that's why we have first the korbanos, then we go into the psuke de zimra, right? That's why people think, oh, just skip the davening and get to there's like levels we have to climb to be worthy to get to the highest level, which is like malachim, that we're just like malachim, that we're not physical beings, that we're spiritual beings already. Like we're on that level that we can say kedusha, right? Like the malachim, because that's what their service is to Hashem. So we have to climb the lower levels to achieve that highest level. And that's why already we put our feet together, right? By Shemona Esrei, we would enter a different realm because we're standing like a malach. The malach, it says, it's like one leg, right? We're malachim. When we don't move, we don't look elsewhere. We're totally focused. So we have to work on it. So first do the physical, like the avoda, the korbanot is physical, is the body, right? We have to actually bring korbanot. That's the behemi side of us. That's the animalistic side. And as we go into the different parts, like the Sukkah de Zimra, the next stage is the Shema Yisrael, right? And that leads us to the highest world, which is the Shemona Esrei. So these are the different levels to be able to climb in tefillah. So what he's saying here is, in order to climb the higher levels, in order to ascend further, right? We need to declare this. We need to say the Shema Yisrael, right? Because it's really transforming us and reinforcing the Emuna inside of us. This is our declaration. We said this when people die, they say Shema Yisrael, right? Before somebody passes, we say Vidu and Shema Yisrael with them. In time of danger, we say Shema Yisrael. That's our declaration. Why? Why do we say that? We say it every single day. We say when we go to sleep. Because this is our expression of our Emuna, of our bitachon in Hashem, our trusting in Hashem. And it's the foundation of the Emuna, and it says of all avodah. It's not possible to pass from one gateway to another, from the outer courtyard into the inner one. By the way, that's also in davening. We speak about this. It's like going to the different parts of the Beit HaMikdash. Like they do the korbanot on the outside, right? Then you're going into the Heichal, and then you're going into
your key. It's your code to each world. Like as you know, each section you say Shema in each section. You say
right, and it's like going into Beit HaMikdash. So the Kodesh HaKadoshim is the Shemona Esrei. You have to imagine that as you're davening, you're entering into a different place into the Beit HaMikdash, and this is the key as of our Emuna. It's the base, he says, and the means in which we possess the ability to rise, ascend to great levels, and ultimately reach Dveikut. This is why we're saying it so many times. We're repeating it. And on Shabbat, we say it a few times. Like I said, we mentioned we say Musaf also on Shabbat, an extra tefillah. And we say it there. We say by the Kriyat Torah, and then we say by the Musaf to show the unity of Hashem, because on Shabbat we're already in Olam Haba, so to speak, right? We're in the next world already. It's Me'ein Olam Haba. It's like, it's like a taste of what it's going to be like. And so this is why we're even declaring it even more, to show this oneness of Hashem. But then we said something else. We said that at the end of our tefillah, we also do this. That we end with Aleinu L'Shabeach. What was Aleinu L'Shabeach, and why was it instituted as part of the end of our tefillah? Remember? What do we say in Aleinu L'Shabeach? Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon Hakol. Already we're declaring Adon Hakol. Latet Gedula Le'Yotzer Bereshit. We have to praise Hashem, and we're giving him Gedula, we're giving him greatness, the one who created Bereshit. He didn't make us like all the other nations. He didn't make us like all those other people, right? All those other beings, right? And what do we say? We continue, we say, we're bowing in front of Hashem. What are we showing? We're declaring again Hashem as our king, and we're praising him. Is everybody cold? Should I put on the heat a little bit?
No.
We're good?
No.
Okay, no, I see everybody like, no, I just see everyone being like little, So, close my door. It's still open. Should I close it?
No, you
That's
close
good.
it.
No, I don't want it to be cold. So this is our avodah. This is avodah. We're also reaching different levels of avodah to fulfill and guard within us the levels we reach through the avodah that we daven for throughout the davening. Because the primary purpose of all our avodah is to attain true Emuna and continuously strive to elevate and ascend without limit. This is the purpose of saying the Tefillah Aleinu, to intensify our Emuna within ourselves, to strengthen the truth of our foundation, and thereby guard our entire spiritual edifice. And in this way, all of our avodah will remain with us, and we will not be categorized as those who toil in vain or produce for futility. And this same reality, he tells us also, we spoke about this last week, is Yom Kippur, right? At the end of Yom Kippur, the Ne'ilah, what do we say? We say, Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shemayim. We accept upon ourselves the yoke of heaven, right? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Hu Elokim, Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Yimloch L'olam Va'ed, right? Hashem Hu Elokim. We say it again and again. We're declaring again. And we say Shema Yisrael. We're declaring this. We're declaring this right as we finish the climax of Yom Kippur is Ne'ilah, right? So this, he says, is like an imprint within ourselves at the culmination of the avodah, of these avodot, of this tremendously holy day, that through reinforcing and strengthening our Emuna by proclaiming the unity of Hashem, Emuna encompasses within it all the spiritual levels that one can possibly attain. And this is what we're talking about. What are we talking about, Emuna? We're talking about our faith in Hashem. It has to be something that's constantly declared, worked on. Right? We said it's like a muscle. And Emuna doesn't just, oh, I believe. Okay, great. But when something happens, I don't believe. Like, leave me alone. And we see this, unfortunately, people who are not so religious, they don't hold on to it because it's something that wasn't strengthened. Although it's there, because it says every Jew has the pintel yid. He has that spark within him that sometimes has to get ignited. And we see in the Holocaust, the pogroms, in times of challenge. I told you the story with the jungle, the guy in the jungle. I'll tell you in a minute. So in times of challenges, when all of a sudden a Yid remembers that he's a Jew, right? It was like, oh, Shema Yisrael. There was actually a guy that put out a video declaring how proud he is to be a Jew. Yesterday, actually, I put out a video that I saw from the not protest, the rally in Washington. I'm proud to be a Jew. I'm proud to be a Jew. Everyone was saying it and declaring it. So then they asked him why. I think I did. I put it on my Israel status, the Israel inspiration thing. I'll share it. So it says, he said, what? So somebody asked him, why are you proud to be a Jew? And one lady looked and she's like, look at all this. Meaning, like, look at the unity. And then another guy said, what do you mean? I'm so happy. No, she was talking about the Jews. She said, I'm so happy to have mitzvot.
Oh.
Right? I'm so happy that we have Hashem. I'm so happy that I'm able to be connected to something higher. And that's in essence every Jew, whether they're secular, religious, wherever they are in the world. So I'll tell you a story. There's I think you heard the story. There was somebody who came to our table on Shabbat. I remember my brother's friend, whatever, we invited him for Shabbat. And he had a lot of stories to tell. This is an Israeli who went touring. They go to Thailand. He went to the jungle. He went to craziest places. And he tells me, stories. He looks secular, totally long hair. Looks like he probably belongs in the jungle. He doesn't look like a Jew. I don't mean it in a negative way. And he's saying, yeah, I went to the jungle and I saw things nobody else saw. My life was at risk so many times, and he said there was one time that he was like facing a snake right in front of him, and he called out Shema Yisrael, and he was saved. And you would think after such a thing shaken up, like your life's in danger, like, okay, like do a little mitzvah.
A little tshuva now.
Yeah. So I don't know. He probably maybe did do something, but he kept telling me these stories. And he said, I went back to Israel and I went to this rabbi, went to get a blessing. And the rabbi's like, go back to the jungle.
Yeah. Why?
So he was very upset about that. He was telling me about it. He said, I'm very upset, Rabbi, I went to get a bracha, and this is the rabbi treats me. I said, well, what was the rabbi really telling you? He wasn't ready to hear a blessing from the rabbi.
Wake up. You obviously didn't get your sign yet. The snake wasn't enough. We need a better next time.
Exactly. You went to a place and you had a test of your Emuna and you failed because you didn't do anything. Hashem gave you back your life. What did you give back to Hashem?
Right.
You want a bracha. What do you want a bracha for? So you can go back to the jungle. You know what I mean? Like you're back in Israel. He came to Israel to get a blessing.
Hey, but he came to you for Shabbos.
He didn't change.
No, yeah, he was starting to.
His ways.
No.
So
He came for Shabbos and he was telling us this story, and I understood it because really Hashem gives us also, like every Yom Kippur we do tshuva, some of the same things that we did the following year, right? And we did this already last year, and again we're doing tshuva for not speaking lashon hara, for not davening, for not giving enough tzedakah, for maybe looking at people in a negative eye, right? And we still do. What does Hashem say? Salachti, I forgive you, and He forgives us. But what do? We make changes to our avodah. Right? We try to learn Shmira Salasha now again. We try, not to repeat the same action and to be better, to learn certain things, to go to Shirim, to give more tzedakah, to be better people, to be better. That's what we want. Why? Because we are Hashem's people. We are His people, and He is our God. And I'll tell you something that I learned beautiful. It keeps coming up. It's amazing. Nechama Leber runs the Grow Circle. Familiar, right? I posted it in my group. It's called Grow because it actually relates to the tefillah. It stands for G, gratitude, R, recognition, O, oneness, and W, wishes, which is like a tefillah, like desire, right? Bakasha. It relates to tefillah. The beginning of tefillah, we say Modeh Ani, and we say Psukei de Zimra, right? We're in gratitude. Then there's the recognition. Then we go into Shema. Recognition is Psukei de Zimra. Shema is the oneness, Shem Echad, and then we go into Shemona Esrei, the Amidah, where we're asking, right, wishes. And so we can do this in our avodah every single day because it relates to our growth. It relates to our bitachon b'Hashem, and that's why we're learning this. Got to pick up the journals. Can you remind me afterwards to make a note? She sent me journals that she put together that are excerpts of Shar Bitachon. And she teaches this, and she puts out videos about this, and she teaches you to do this in your avodah every single day. Something went wrong, let's do a grow. How is this? How can you have gratitude for this? What can you recognize from this? How can you bring Hashem into this, the oneness? And what is your wish? And so, why am I saying this? Why did I start saying this? Because in essence, our whole avodah and everything that happens, and even if we do something wrong, is how are we going to make a change to make it even better? Because we're boteach b'Hashem, we trust in Hashem, and we understand that Hashem is here and Hashem loves me. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So she taught us a beautiful thing that her father taught her. She is a yetomah. Her father passed away when she was, I think, 10 years old. Maybe he told her this when she was 6, 10 years old. But he taught her a very important lesson when she was little. She told him a story, something happened in school. And he says to her, Va'ani eftach bach. Hashem tells us, I trust in you. Don't worry. You're okay. And we say back to Hashem, Va'ani eftach bach. And I trust in you, Hashem. And this has come up because there was a song that I played and I sent it to her. And she constantly talks about this because this is what she remembers from her dad. How he taught her to trust in Hashem no matter what happens in your life. And she was a little girl then. And now these lessons are so important to her because she's gone through her journey of avodas Hashem, working on herself, going through struggle, going through, very hard, losing a father at a young age. It stays with you. And she's mamash, an amazing person. I met her at a coaching school, Rivka Malka's coaching school. And we sort of like coached each other there. And I met her there. Now I see her and I'm like, you're so amazing. Look what you're teaching. You're like, she's done her avodah. She's doing her work. And now she's able to give it over and give chizuk to many people. But she says this is something that stayed with her forever. So the other day, there was a video that was put out by Meaningful People, the Meaningful Minute. And it was Charlie Harari. You saw it? I posted in my group, and he said, something goes wrong in your life. Kids are not listening to you. Vani eftach bach. I trust in you, Hashem. I trust you, Hashem. You're gonna help me through this. Something didn't go right? You didn't get to the meeting. You didn't get to what you wanted to do. Trust you, Hashem. Just say it all the time. Say it every day. Say it whenever things, don't go your way. I trust in you, Hashem. This is what we're learning. This is what we have to constantly do. We constantly say Shema. That's what we're saying. Hashem, I trust in you. I believe in you. And that brings me to another song. Rabbi Waxman put out a song as he talks about also Bitachon and Emuna. And the song goes, I believe in Hashem. I trust in Hashem. Whenever is when I am alone.
I can't remember.
When I'm not, I believe and I trust in Hashem. Look at the words, yeah. I think at the words. Yeah. So this is what we have to always do. It's something that we have to strengthen. It's something that we constantly. Oh yeah, he said Shakonia Bizarre. Yeah, he had a song. He had that song. Yeah. So I want to go into a little bit of the Sha'ar Bitachon now. I mean, there's a lot more in this Sefer. We did a little bit of a review now with the Shema, but the next thing that he talks about is that all mitzvahs were given as ways to bring a person to have emuna. So we spoke about it in the tefillah, how it's so important, but he talks about how the 613 mitzvot and every mitzvah that we perform, right? It's every mitzvah in a way that will lead us to the desired goal, which is emuna. And this can be accomplished through contemplating and recognizing that we're merely servants who want to perform the will of our master and serve him by fulfilling his mitzvot. Consequently, the fulfillment of mitzvot establishes this emunah solidly in our hearts like a tightly wedged peg that will never sway. And this is the rationale behind the famous dictum, mitzvot tzrichot kavana. Why do we have to do a mitzvah? We don't just do it. We have to be chaven. We have to direct the mitzvah. Where is it going? What are we doing this for? Why are we doing this now? Right? The main component of mitzvot is the reflection in one's heart to serve the blessed Creator. And conversely, if one does not carry out the mitzvot with this thought in mind, these mitzvot will not possess the ability to awaken the truth and emuna in one's heart. It's because the primary element of every mitzvah, the Zohar HaKadosh states, is the ability to lead us to emunah. Okay?
The primary what is
the primary element of every mitzvah is its ability to lead us to emunah. Again, why did I just do that mitzvah? Because I'm connected with a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and this mitzvah is going to lead me to be closer to Hashem. It says, Ratzah Kadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Yisrael. Hashem wanted to bring Bnei Yisrael a lot of zchuyot, a lot of merit. Lefichach hirba lahem Torah u'mitzvot, and that's why He gave us so many Torah and mitzvot, 613. Right? We can't all fulfill all of them ourselves, but each one of Klal Yisrael has their part to be able to do. But we all have to do it in order for us to come closer to Hashem. The mitzvah is supposed to bring us closer. So if I'm doing a mitzvah and I'm not being mechaven that I'm doing a mitzvah, and that's why before you do a mitzvah, you should say, the Vitan teacher says, B'Shem Kol Yisrael, right? In the name of all of Am Yisrael. I'm doing this mitzvah. I'm doing it B'Shem Kol Yisrael. And for you, Hashem, Memancha Hashem, right? I'm not doing this for my benefit. Maybe there is a benefit for me, right? Even if you do a chesed, there's some sort of benefit. There's something you're getting sipuk, you're getting something. But it's in order to elevate me to be closer to Kadosh Baruch Hu. He wanted to give us merits, right? How many merits Hashem gives us? And what do we say? All right, maybe I'll do it. All right, but I'll think about it tomorrow. Yeah. So last week we talked about in the Chovot Halevavot. Just do a few more minutes. We started late.
Can I just share something?
Yes, please. This is what it's about. Chabur, everyone's sharing.
I just read in this last week's Hidabrut of Parshas Vayechi that the Gemara says, and this happened in our family, that when someone nifta comes to another person who's a karov in their dream and says, I'm cold, or I'm hungry, or I'm thirsty, There was one more element, which I'm not sure if it was tired or not. It's a sign that the neshama needs a tikkun. And why does it come in this language? Because and this is the lashon, I guess, of the Gemara, our machshavos, our thoughts, our diburim, our speech, and our maisim, our deeds, create levushim, garments.
Yes.
Oh, you know this?
Yeah.
Okay, so say.
No, you say it. What do you mean? Just because I know it doesn't mean you can share.
You were saying
Create
create
garments for the neshama in our
That's right.
lifetime.
That's right.
So if someone is chaser those things, then it's a big tsar to the neshama once it's chaser from the book. Yeah.
If someone comes to you in a dream that they need more zechuyos, that we can do mitzvahs in their honor.
Right. And the article that you reminded me, the article was all about, how to mala and neshama. So it started, and most of it was about saying mishnayos, because mishnah is a repositioning of the letters of neshama. So it's even greater than davening for the Amud, but even greater than that is learning Torah. And then it came to this towards the end.
I'd like to see it.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
So now I have to remember why I thought of it now, because of something you just said. Oh, about the primary kavana and the.
Yeah, that's where the
Okay.
kavana goes.
Yeah.
When we're mechaven, that's why there is. If you look sometimes before our tefillah, it says Hashem yichud kosha b'richu, right? That we're doing this. We're about to pray mincha, right? Hashem yichud, in order to unite the name of Hashem, the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey. That's a kavana already, right? That anytime we do a mitzvah, we are sort of putting together Hashem's name. We're creating something. Every mitzvah, first of all, the word mitzvah is from the word savta. What's savta? Biyachad, right? Savta. Yeah, biyachad, to do something together. That we're uniting, we're putting together something, right? That maybe there's chaos, and now as I do the mitzvah, I'm creating something. I'm creating a malach. I'm creating a mitzvah.
That you're saying?
Savta means uniting. That you and Hashem, you're becoming one with Hashem.
Spell it.
Savta, tzadik, vav, taf, aleph. I think there's an aleph.
Yeah, there's an aleph.
Tzadik, vav, vav, taf, aleph. Biyachad, right? Biyachad minatzeach. But it doesn't only mean biyachad us. It means biyachad im Hashem. So that's the kavanah that we're having in doing the mitzvah.
It's the same root.
Yeah, is to unite us, to become one, echad, with Hashem. That this mitzvah is not separate from me, right? Like I'm making a bracha and I'm partaking in this, but in doing so, I'm not only elevating myself, I'm elevating Shem Hashem in the world, right? I'm making a kiddush Hashem. What's a kiddush Hashem? To be marbek vot shamayim, to cause that Hashem's name should be great in the world. Chilul is from the Shon Chalal. Chalal is a dead body. Halal is empty space, right? Space is called halal, halalim, right? Why? Because whenever I do something that's the opposite of a mitzvah, right? An avera, I'm being machti. Chet means to miss the mark, right? I'm not doing the mitzvah, I'm doing the opposite. I'm causing a chilul Hashem. I'm causing a lack, a vacuum. Thank you. I'm causing emptiness because that place could have been filled with kedusha, right? Imagine I have a vessel, I have a cup, and I pour water, right? And this is the ability for it to be filled with water, is the fact that it's a cup, it's a vessel. But there's no vessel, it's going to fall onto the ground and chaval on that water, on the abundance, on the shefa, on the bracha, on the brecha, on the spring that's flowing.
The mitzvah makes the vessel?
The person makes the vessel. By doing the mitzvah, you are becoming the vessel for kedusha, right? You are becoming the vessel to bring more holiness into the world. When I say a bracha, when I daven, when I do the mitzvah, when I have kavana to do the mitzvah. Do you know that you get sechar for the thoughts of doing a mitzvah? Imagine if a person knew that, how many more mitzvahs he would think about and want to do. Even the kavana, because how do we know this? Because the opposite is true. You have to bring a korban for hilhurei avera.
Thinking about it.
Thinking about it, doing an avera. If a person thinks about an avera, you have to bring a korban. You have to bring a animal to be mechaper, to atone for your bad thoughts.
Wow.
Because bad thoughts lead to bad actions.
So why do you say machshava?
Kemase, machshava kemase.
Eino mitzarefes l'maaseh. Machshava tova mitzarefes.
Mitzarefet lemase. All the more so. That's what we're saying. If you're thinking badly, and if that even thoughts, right? A person is going to be judged on his bad thoughts. We have to be careful because it's going to bring him to avera. The opposite is also true. That when you think about doing a mitzvah, even the thought of doing the mitzvah is also schar. Of course, not as much schar as doing the mitzvah. Of course, right? And that's why there's also it's relating to Moshe Rabbeinu that you have to finish the mitzvah to get full schar for it, right? The Moshe Rabbeinu, they didn't bury him, right? They asked, he wanted to bury, that's what Yosef, right? But Klal Yisrael got reward for it because they completed the mitzvah. So that's even another thing, is that you have to complete the mitzvah. But even just thinking in a positive way is already a good thing. Why do we say machshavot tovot? Why is it so important to have machshavot tovot? Good thoughts. Because good thoughts lead to maasim tovim, right? Good deeds. And that's what the opposite is also true, because you're creating something, you're making it something muchash, you're creating a malach. Just thinking, oh my gosh, thank you Hashem for this, coffee. Thank you. Just that thought, you were in gratitude. That's Emuna. I thought about Hashem when I looked at this cup, like do it, give it to a guy. Give me my coffee. I didn't drink my coffee, and they gulp it down. They're not thinking Hashem. You're saying Baruch Atah Hashem. Thank you Hashem for my coffee. Recognition, hakara. The first thing you do in the morning, you wake up. I just spoke about this yesterday in my lesson I teach a girl. Navi, I happened to be. I taught her. And we were talking about this word lakir. I kept saying the word lakir in the Navi. To be makir, we say hakarat tov. To be makir tov. You do it every morning. What do? You wake up, and you don't go and look at your phone.
No, we be better at that. I'm taking notes, by the way.
You don't go and make a coffee. Okay, I'll say that. We say first thing when you wake up.
Say it in bed, you're saying.
Yes. First thing you wake up. You know how bad I need to go to the bathroom in the morning? I need to run to the bathroom in the morning, but I'm like, I sit up on my bed. I'm like, I gotta go. But what?
Up to where before you get out of the here.
מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך. Even if you didn't wash your hands, there's tuma on your hands. You need to go to the bathroom, you're allowed to say מודה אני. There's no Shem Hashem there.
Right.
Why? Because that should be the first hakara. The first thing you're makir is that there's a creator, he gave me back my life.
Because
don't I owe him? Don't I have to say thank you? Somebody gave me back my life. So what are we saying? That's Emuna. First thing we do, we wake up with Emuna. We wake up with the belief, somebody gave me my life. Thank you. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you to who? Thank you to you, the creator. We don't say Hashem Hashem. Lefanecha, melech, chai v'kayam. You're the king. What are you doing by saying Hashem, you're the king? That alone is the recognition that you have a God, that you have a king, that you have somebody ruling over you. You're not your own ruler. So anytime we do this mitzvah, we're creating a tzavta, we're creating a union, right? That we're one with Hashem, that we become one with Hashem by doing the mitzvah. And that's what you're saying, is we're giving the levush, we're giving the clothing to the neshama. Because the neshama, without kavanah, it says, tfilah belo kavanah, keguf belo neshama. You know that? Tfilah belo kavanah. Tfilah without intention is like a body without a soul. What's the body doing? Just walking around. You're like a robot. We don't believe that, right? We believe that we're human beings, but we're connected to Hashem. We're not stam. We're called a medaber. We have the ability to speak. We have the ability to request. We have the ability to ask. This is my whole tefillah thing. We're dependent. Unlike the Nachash, it says go crawl on the ground, and you get your food there. You don't have to look up at me. You don't have to ask for me. This is what Pincus says. We're tluyim. We are talui. We're dependent on a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So when we're having kavanah. Even that is the hakara. It's the acknowledgement and the awareness that I have a Hashem. That's Emuna. But it's not enough. Sorry. Because that's great. Wonderful. I'll thank you, Hashem. And now what are you doing? I'm going to go do your veros, Go look at that non-kosher, movie or whatever. Okay, thank you, Hashem. And just go move on in my life and forget about Hashem. And not say brachas and not daven, right? That's what's important. That in the morning we wake up. First of all, we do netilat yadayim. We're already osek in mitzvot. We say our appreciation for everything that's functioning, b'kot hashachar, right? We say it in the morning. You don't say that at night because now I got it back. And then it says after tefillah, a person should learn something because learning makes it more muchashi. It brings it to life that we're actually doing a ma'aseh. We're doing an action to be able to connect us with the tefillah. And it's really important because that sort of brings down the kedusha even more. So I just want to say a little bit of the Chovot, a little bit because I would say it, and I want to have us to go, but
we're supposed to learn before we eat. Is that what you said?
Learn something after you daven. Even the halacha, not eating, nothing to do with eating. Start your day. To make your tefillah more muchash, we should learn something that you ever seen in shul. They say two halachas, right?
No, but also in the tefillah, they put in a few psukkei of Torah. It's in there. Right after Birkas of Torah, you learn something.
Right. Yivarechecha.
Yeah.
Right, but it's just for yourselves. It's good to take a sefer and learn something.
Is it meant to be done before one eats breakfast? Sometimes I don't feel well enough.
I don't think for women it's like a different story. You could eat first.
We could do something cute also. If you want to learn something.
Do while you're eating.
7 days a week, and there's 7 aliyahs in the parsha. This is what Rav Noach Weinberg would say. If you want to have a conversation with Hashem and know what's going on in the week, you read the aliyah every day from the parsha. We want something short and sweet.
So we started last week with the Bishar Bitachon, who said what we're saying actually now, without realizing. First of all, he says that when you're talking about serving Hashem, the first of all things that you need is the subject of bitachon. We're talking about emuna, to believe in Hashem. Bitachon is trust in Hashem. And we spoke about how we need to have both. So I'm just reviewing a couple of seconds, and then we'll do another part. That may seem at first like a new idea because after we make up our minds to serve Hashem, we instinctively look for action, for things to do, right? Obligations that we have to fulfill. Instead, the Chovot HaLevavot gives us things to think about. We begin to see that the most important thing of serving Hashem is what we just said, is thinking. Our machshavot. We also have functions to perform. But first on the list of avoda, of our service of Hashem, is certain attitudes of the mind that we have to acquire. Above all, the most important requirement of avodas Elokim is bitachon, which is a matter of thoughts of the mind. That's the first and most important way to serve Hashem, that you can also refer to this idea with the word emuna, which is sincere belief. This means if you want to serve Hashem, you have to work on your emuna, la'amin b'Hashem. That's number one. Admittingly, emuna is a prerequisite for avodat Elokim, right? You first have to believe in Hashem in order to serve Him. But suppose a person reads the whole shar on avodat Elokim, and he's inspired to do something now. So the author here tells him, this is Rav Victor Miller speaking, Parish of the Chovot HaLevavot. He tells, if you want something to do, gain more emuna. You will discover that the emuna you had before is too weak, too small to be called part of a real service to Hashem. And what's bitachon? It's a part of emuna. Bitachon tells us to know that Hashem is in charge. It also tells us that Hashem wants to do kindness with His creation. Chafetz chesed, that you say Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, right? He's one, and His oneness is that He wants to give chesed. And once you have these two ideas, what we spoke about last week, right? That he's in charge and that he wants to do chesed, right? That Hashem does everything, whatever happens comes from him. And we have to learn that Hashem is doing it all for the purpose of chesed and kindness. This is how we achieve Emuna. And then he goes into the bitachon. Bitachon is the most fundamental quality for one who serves Hashem. Everything you do needs bitachon. Habotech b'Hashem, chesed yisovevenu. And we're connecting the two. The one who trusts in Hashem will be surrounded by chesed, right? It says here that everything that we do is bitachon, even earning a living, okay? With attempting to uphold your health, right? If you're not botech b'Hashem, you don't trust in Hashem, how are you going to get good health? Maintaining good relationships with your family, your husband, your friends, your neighbors, right? Learning about your tefillah, right? It's all part of bitachon. In the beginning of our tefillah, we say, Shem sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid teilatecha. Hashem, open my lips so that my mouth may declare your praise. Why do we say this? Why are we saying to Hashem before we start to pray? Why don't we just start praying? Anybody? There's no right answer.
To acknowledge that we need Hashem to.
Everything is from Hashem. Even what we're saying.
We have to be boteach b'Hashem. We have to trust, right? That Hashem's going to answer us. Hashem's listening to us.
The act of like actually open my mouth is actually like saying like, I need you to even just to begin.
Trusting him.
Yeah.
Trust, that's trust. Right? Yeah. I believe that you, Hashem, are going to help me to start to pray. You want to say something else?
Saying that if everything is from Hashem, even whatever we're saying is from Hashem, you're asking Hashem to give us the right words to say.
Yes.
Also.
So he says here, because although we're ready to pray to Hashem, we can't be sure that we're going to succeed. Right? Nobody ever had this, but I'm sure, like, right, you might know what I'm talking about, that you start to pray and before you know, you're up to modim and like, what happened? What did I just say? Like, where was that? I have to go to the boss, I have to prepare dinner, my appointment, the this, the that, right? So we don't know that we're going to be successful. And therefore we
can say it over
No,
again.
I really wanted
Only
to go
the
back yesterday. We went to
only the
Chovot,
first.
there was a lot of noises and I got very distracted. I was
Right.
like, man,
So
I need to do that again.
there's a she'ela. Only the first. If you didn't have kavana in the first bracha of Shemona Esrei, then you weren't Yotzei Shemona Esrei, according to some.
Words. The first
No.
time.
The first one, the first paragraph.
But
So-
after that, you can.
Right. So that's the shal. If you can go back, the first bracha.
The first
Yeah. Yeah. In the first bracha, you can. After that, no. But I'll tell you what to do. I'll give you a tip. Let me just finish this. Let me just finish this one. We're gonna wrap it up. Yes, exactly. But I'll give you tips. You have to go?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna wrap this up. So here we first say a tefillah for success of the tefillah. We have bitachon that our success in tefillah depends on who? On Hashem's help. In the same way, everything else we do depends on him. For example, people work very hard before Pesach, cleaning the house, getting rid of chametz, but they are relying on their own efforts. This is a mistake. In the middle of Pesach, they might be surprised to find a whole bottle of whiskey someplace in the closet. Right? Ever happened to you? I almost put chametz in my food. I bought the wrong thing. It didn't have kosher Pesach. It's like a soup mix. And I don't know why. Hashem made me look at it before. It had yeast inside. So we rely on ourselves. So even when it comes to getting ready for Pesach, don't rely on your own efforts. You need to ask Hashem to give you hatzlacha, to give you success. You need siyata d'shmaya, help from Hashem in everything, even to succeed in a mitzvah. And the same is true in all areas of our lives. We always refer back to Hashem in our learning. How can you be sure that you're going to remember things? How can you be sure you have the right interpretation and then text and the pshat? You need so many things in order to succeed in learning, such as having an available time, a good chaverim. So you have to ask Hashem to cause that, to cause all of these to be effective. Don't rely on yourself for the mitzvah. So what's he saying? That's trust. That you're putting your trust in Hashem. I trust you, Hashem. You're going to help me with this. And that's our tefillah, is a Be'ezrat Hashem. And everything that we do, we put our trust in Hashem. Hashem, Sefatai Tiftach, open my mouth. I should say the right things. I should think the right things. Right? Of course, things happen and we sometimes lose it. You know what I'm saying? We don't remember, or we say the wrong thing, or we have not such good thoughts. Maybe our mind wanders, or we're human. We have to catch ourselves. So I'll tell you in the Shemona Esrei, try to think before you say the bracha, what is this bracha about? So this bracha is about Rifa'enu. Let me have intention now. That's already putting your mindset somewhere. If you start before you say the bracha, there's more likelihood that you'll have more kavanah because you know what you're talking about. If something happens to you that you catch yourself, right? You're in the middle. You're in the middle of Rifa'enu and like you just realize so stop. First of all, close your eyes. Like a meditation, right? Center yourself. And one of the things I learned is that you lift up your feet.
Really?
Yeah, you lift up your feet. You can't move your feet, but you can lift up your feet. It's as if you're like, Hashem, like help me elevate this tefillah right now. Help me have more kavanah right now. And stopping, just even pausing and slowing down the tefillah. Whenever you slow it down, you're not saying it by heart. You're reading it, you're looking, and that's the other thing is read the tefillah, even if you know it by heart. Read it, point to it. Yeah.
Yes.
Look at it, point. I'll tell you the Manchester Rosh Hashiva, Rav Segal. He used to look at every single word. He used to read the bracha. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro from a card. He used to read it to have more kavanah, to have more intention.
Right.
So this week, what are we working on? We're going to work on our recognition, acknowledgement.
I can share. I wrote down.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's a good review for you guys.
So, basically, I was waiting to say Moriani until I started davening. I would say everything later. Like, I'll do my whole day, come back, it's right before 11 o'clock or whatever. I say everything. So I'm going to try and say Moriani first thing. That's one thing. And I wrote down also to try to pause it and look at the meaning at brachas before. And walking around, looking at the sky more. I love looking at the sky, so I don't have a problem with that. That's what I'm going to try and do.
Good. And acknowledgement. The acknowledgement is just even recognition that before I do a mitzvah, before I go to my son, I have to go get him. Hashem, help me get there quickly in time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Recognition before you do a mitzvah. And also, talking to Hashem, raising our eyes, elevating ourselves, in our tefillah, stopping, pausing. This is all part of Emuna and
I took
Bitachon.
notes. I can post it to the group if you guys want.
Yeah, please.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
quickly add something?
Yeah.
Said that we should all daven to be alive in the time of Mashiach. You should ask for Hashem to keep you alive for the
And
time
to
of
keep all those who don't keep Torah mitzvahs alive.
Wow.
Because not everybody will merit to be alive.
Wow.
Right.
Like the time of Mitzrayim. Because Hashem is sifting through the Ra right now. Hashem's sifting through the Ra. And anybody
That was the
with the merit to be in the time of Mashiach. And so I daven for all my non-religious family that they should be zoche. The zchut of their chasadim and their wanting and their Emuna should be zoche to see Mashiach. You know, a lot of generations were in zoche, not just us over here.
And then
So-
Charlie Harari said we should
Yeah.
also the Pitum
Pitom Ketoret, yes. It
every
said
day.
the way the evil decrees.
So send all the tefillahs. I'll send all the tefillahs to our.
If you say the tefillah, if you start, it's in the morning bracha. If you start tefillah and you look at the beginning of the tefillah, the incense, that's the first tefillah. Yeah, she brought it.
You do the incense?
Every day.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Some people have a special that leather cover.
It's
Like
specific.
they hang it up, or they hang it up on their wall.
It's for them, for the
The tefillahs.
yeah.
Yeah, the carbonus.
It's a protection. Some people hang it up. She has to go. So
Okay, I'm taking it.
a lot of stuff we didn't get to hear from you today. But next time you're sharing. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being
Okay,
here.
that was amazing.
Bracha achorona, you need to. Shoshana, you need to make a bracha. Bracha
I do. I
achorona.
was getting ready to do that. Okay, 1 second.
Julie, you wanted to say something. Say loud. You're making breakfast, say that. Finished?
No. Whatever, Racheli Miller.
Yeah.
Whatever, if you like, you know.
Okay, what's that mean? What's that mean?
ויציל משכן קודש ואל מזבחך ואל תקלך ובני ירושלים עיר הקודש במהרה בימינו ועלינו לתקופה וגם חיים ונעם נפל מפריע מזבח מטובה נרחה לך ביטושו ובטהר כי אדוני טוב ומיטיב לכל בני לבך על הארץ המחיה ברוך אדוני על הארץ המחיה.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם ברינה פשוט שרבו שרצונה נקומה שבראת חיות נפש כל חי ברוך אלוהים.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
I love that bracha for Nefashot Rabot v'Chesronan. Even their lack.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to make. I need sponsors. We can get sponsors. Amazing. I'm going to publicize it tonight. And my love, remind me.
I'll share it.
So Chovot, thank you. Thanks for your notes. Thank you all for joining. Have an amazing day. Take care, Mother.
Culture. Take care.
Talk to me later. I want to talk to you about something. Okay? Take care.
Oh, we have to remember, like,
Listening.
it applies to everything.